hit record first. Okay, guys, so the way we're gonna start this, and make sure you're on mute and use the chat, okay? If you have anything you wanna share as we're going, make sure you have a pen and paper so that you can journal your experience immediately after. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna get ourselves into a calm state and, hold on. Okay, we're gonna get ourselves into a calm state and we are going to open ourselves up to the future version of us. And we're not going to pick a future version of us 1 year in the future where there's like, oh, I want to be down 30 pounds. No, we're not going to go into the future 5 years where we can think about the kind of house we want to live in, or maybe our retirement plan, or maybe what our kids will be doing. Like, that's really kind of like concrete in our mind, what we think about, what we want 5 years from now. What we're going to do is we want to go to a place where I'm not your mentor anymore, where there's a version of you inside of you that you're your own mentor. Because anybody who really wants to help you and not just get their agenda across is going to tell you that you need to filter whatever they say through your own inner truth, through your own inner self. And so today we want to find that filter, because that filter is going to help you for every book you ever read, every video of mine you ever listen to, every reaction you ever hear from yourself or from somebody else. It's going to give you this like guidepost to be like, does that really feel like the authentic me? And most of us are not living our lives because we're never going to get there, right? We're all recovering perfectionists. We all know that this every day that we breathe until the day we die is that journey to find our soul version of ourselves. So what we're going to do today is we're going to find kind of that inner mentor that's going to give us context, and it's going to give us insight that even though today we may be struggling with 7 different things, there's a future version of us that isn't struggling with those things. And she's going to be able to help us filter what we're struggling with now and accept, okay, I'm struggling with this now, but there will be a time I won't be struggling with it. So I don't have to sit in shame and guilt and frustration and judgment. You know, I wish that when I was first married and we were, fighting over the chores, that somebody would say, hey, by the way, guess what? Like, you have 3 kids now. You have 5 kids now. Like, there's this future version of you that has like household help, and the kids have chores, and like these things that are like huge obstacles for you right now in your marriage don't even exist in the future. So like, take a deep breath, and like, you're going to navigate this. There's a version of you that isn't struggling with this anymore. And to believe that is the greatest gift you'll ever be able to give yourself. So let's take a few deep breaths. I want you to close your eyes. And this is really important. I want you to work on your posture, okay? Sit down, and you want your feet to be touching the floor. And when we sit in chairs, we kind of roll our lower back down. I want you to pull your stomach in from your floor and just straighten that lower back. Tilt it forward. And roll out your shoulders. And what we're going to do is we're going to start at our feet. And I want you to feel like from your feet, you're filling up with water, like from your toes, like you're an empty vessel, and like the water slowly filling up from your toes. And it's coming through the center of your feet, and it just feels like warm, comfortable bath water at like the perfect temperature. And it's just easing any aches and pains and tension in your ankles. And it's pure, clean water. And it's just slowly filling up through your calves. Take some deep breaths and like just make room for that water to fill you up. And it's going to fill you up through your knees. And just keep exhaling that tension. It feels so good. It feels so relaxing. And let that warm water fill you up through your thighs, easing the tension in your muscles. And just Keep exhaling that out. And it's going to go through your whole pelvis area, through your hips, to your belly button, and just feel that water is just flowing into you. You don't have to do any effort, it's just coming. Just exhale out that tension that you're holding. Feel the water kind of coming up to your heart. And when it comes up to your heart, sometimes it can get stuck here. There's something clogged. If you feel anything clogged, put your hand on your heart and just give it a little rub. Help it release a little bit. You just keep exhaling as the water is rising, easing any tension and stress in your body. And it's rising up to your collarbone and your neck. If you feel any tension in your neck, just rub it with your hand. Release. Help loosen it in that warm water. Going down through your shoulders. Filling into your fingers. Starting to fill up your fingers. Easing any tension in your wrists. Open your hands. Turn them palm side up, so that they're open to receiving and they're just filling this warm, comfortable water. And it's easing in your forearms, your biceps, starting to fill up. And if you feel any tingling, it's totally okay. Filling up to your shoulders and your neck. And again, if you start to feel any fear or constriction, you can touch your neck and tell yourself it's okay. It's totally safe. Now the water's coming up to your nose. And it's easing any congestion that you have, and it's coming up behind your eyes. If you have a headache, it's slowly easing it like a warm hot water bottle, just easing it out. The tips of your ears, all the way to your scalp, and just exhale any pressure, any tension you feel in your body. Just exhale it all out. Now you're full of this like warm, comforting feeling. And you're sitting in this water. Now all of a sudden, you're in a white room. And it's just very peaceful. It's like a beautiful shade of white. Not like cold, it's just almost warm. And there's a glass door in the room, like a sliding door. And you see a beautiful garden outside. Take some deep breaths for a minute. And all of a sudden, there's a light kind of coming from outside, shining from the sun, reflection through the glass door, and it's hitting your chair. And I'm going to follow that light to the door. I'm going to touch the door. And when we open the door, we'll be looking out to beautiful nature space. And all of us are going to see different space. But it's your favorite space, nature. And it's just amazing. It's incredibly beautiful and peaceful. And you walk out, and you see the details. You see the sun hitting all the plants. You see the colors are vibrant. It's amazing. And you see there's like a pod, like a kind of a spaceship kind of looking thing sitting in the garden. Kind of funny looking, but it looks cool. And touch the door, and it like spaceship like opens. There's a very comfy chair inside. You step inside. You still feel warm and safe, and we're okay. And now there's going to be this light. And it's going to lift us up. We're going to get up in our spaceship. And we're going to rise up above this very beautiful nature space. And we're going to start to see it from above. We're going to start to go through the clouds, to go through the sky. And you're raising up to look down. You can look around. Never seen it from this perspective before. We're going to continue to rise. As we go through, things are starting to get dark. You start to see the stars. I look down and you see the planet. It's so beautiful and blue. And we're following this light path. We're going to pause right here and we see the light path right back down to where we started. We know we're safe. We know we can get home. We'll just look down at the earth. And we're going to choose to take a journey. We're going to choose to see another light path, kind of new one. The other one is still there. You know, we're going to get home. There's a new one coming down all the way back to earth, to somewhere else. Not to this garden, to somewhere else. And we don't know where it's going to be. So we're going to take a deep breath. And we're going to start to slowly descend, following the new path of light. We're going to go down and we're going to look at our environment around us. We're starting to move down towards the planet. Starting to come down into the atmosphere, through the clouds. Beautiful day. Sunny, blue sky. And as you're coming down, look around. Notice the country that you're in. What does it look like outside the window? Surprising, interesting. Try not to put any expectations on what you're going to see. It doesn't really matter. It's what's inside of you. I'm going to go down. You're going to start to see the trees getting bigger. You're approaching the ground. You're going to feel yourself landing somewhere. You make sure you feel safe, completely at rest. And the door is going to open. You're going to unbuckle, step out, and there's a home. It might be an apartment, it might be a house, a cottage, be whatever home it's going to be. There's a door, and you know that you, 20 years from now, is on the other side of that door. 20 years from now, on the other side of that door. And you know they're coming to the door to open the door. You open the door. And it's okay if you can't see them clearly. Maybe they're a little blurry, but you know they're there. You're going to open the door. They're going to open it for you and invite you in. And get a sense of whatever you can, what the home looks like, what it feels like. What does it feel like? You might not see details. You might see details. You might hear other people in the home. You might be completely alone with your future self. But they are so happy to see you. They've been waiting for you. And they take you to a table. And they want to give you something to drink. And you sit down with them at the table. And I want you to take a second and ask the future version of you a question. Can I ask you a question? And they say, of course, that's why I'm here. Get a sense of who they are. Are they happy? Are they peaceful? Are they calm? Are they concerned? And ask them, what has been the most meaningful thing in the last 20 years? Be open to their answer. What's the most meaningful thing to you in the last 20 years? And now look out at the view, whatever you're seeing around you, while they answer. Just listen. If there's anything else you want to ask them, take a minute. They're there to answer you. They've been waiting. If there's anything else that you've been scared to ask, scared to wonder about, take a minute. Ask. some deep breaths. Get a sense of the feelings behind what they're saying. Not just the words they're using, but what are they feeling about what they're telling you? You feel that they love you and they're here to answer you. Ask permission to visit again another time. Wait, there's something they're saying they want to give you. They want to give you a gift to remember this experience. Take a second and listen to what they have to tell you. See what they want to give you to take back with you. If you need another minute, take another minute. Remember, this place is always going to be here. You can come back here whenever you want. Feel their love. Feel their desire for you to succeed and be happy. Sincerely thank them for their time, for their effort, for their gift. I'm going to close the door and walk outside. Look around you, get a sense of where you are in the world. Could be anywhere. Could be somewhere you didn't expect. We're going to head back into our spaceship. We're going to hear that whoosh of the door opening. Buckle up. You still feel warm and safe in that water inside us. Look slow. And we see that trail of light that we came down on. And it starts to go up, back, through the clouds, through the sky. You can see everything getting smaller. And it's still a beautiful day. And as we rise up through the clouds, take your time, look around you. So peaceful, so interesting. Up, up. And when we get back to that place in space where we can see the earth, we're parked, and we see that light that we came down from, our original home in that garden. We're going to ease back down, slowly, slowly, slowly going back, thinking about what that future version of us told us, maybe the gift they gave us, wondering what it meant. Maybe it was something different than you expected. It didn't feel real. Maybe it felt incredibly. Staying with whatever experience we had. Slowly we're landing back in the garden. Exiting the spaceship. Walking back through that space of nature that feels beautiful and safe to us. So we see that glass sliding door. Back to the glass sliding door, opening it up. Walking back into that white, peaceful, clean room. Sitting in that chair. Taking 3 deep breaths before you open your eyes. Now open your eyes. And before you say anything, take out your pen and paper and write down a little bit of your experience. What came up for you? What did you see in that future version of yourself? What questions did you ask the future version of yourself? What was your sense of that person? Were they happy? Were they content? Could you see what they were wearing, what they looked like? Or was it all kind of blurry? Could you see where you live? Or was it blurry? Did you sense who was in the house? Or were you two alone? Just for a minute so we can. So we all just shared privately kind of our takeaways and experiences from this visualization exercise. But no matter if you had a very clear vision or you weren't able to really feel or visualize anything, the point of this exercise is to get to the place of belief. Belief that you're going to live a healthy life 20 years from now. In fact, you're healthy, so it's off the table. Nobody in their vision, even though we're here in the Shabbat Idol Blueprint, shared that they asked about their weight. How much do I weigh? Nobody cared. It was all about how that person was living their life, what their relationships were like, how they felt, what they wanted, what they felt like they achieved over these last 20 years. And I want you guys to take that in for a second, what that means. What that means is when we're talking about our ideal weight, we're talking about getting to a place where we can almost take for granted with a ton of gratitude how healthy we are every single day, how good we feel in our body, how empowered we feel in our inner and physical strength, that we're living a lifestyle that is sustaining those feelings from the inside out. So of course, that future version of us is eating well. She wouldn't be the confident one in the garden if she wasn't eating well. She wouldn't be that one focused on relationships and all these other things if she was suffering from diabetes and cholesterol and hospitalized and suffering with all of these other things. And we take for granted that in order to really be in that beautiful future state, of course, we've mastered the foundation, which is that we're living every single day in alignment with just being healthy and a healthy weight. And that might be a range slightly. It might be that you're in the same size, and some days the pants feel a little bit tighter, and some days they feel looser, and some days you can see your ab muscles, and some days you can't. And some days you're lifting at 20 pounds, and some days you're lifting 10. Some days you're just doing yoga. Some days you're just taking a walk. But all of that can sometimes fade away in that feeling that we have to be very dedicated and very disciplined and very focused in order to be successful, can start to like shift. That success might look like we're not even thinking about our weight anymore, even if that future version of us goes on the scale. That's just irrelevant to what you really cares about 20 years from now.